All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to give it just another minute as people start logging in, but I did want to let you know that the way this is going to work, just sort of logistically, I'm going to show a quick slideshow with a lot of information about Connect Abroad, and then I am going to, in theory, unmute everybody and open this up for any questions that you might have afterward. We will also, I'll also be checking the chat and the question and answer, so please feel free to put any questions in those as we move forward. So can everybody hear me okay?
You've done good to me, Kay.
Thank you, Amy. And now are you seeing the slideshow or me?
I am seeing your slideshow.
Great, that's what we want to see. Fabulous. All right. Well, I'm going to just, for the sake of time, and to be respectful of yours, I'm going to just jump on in. So, welcome to the Connect Abroad info session. My name's Kay Stanton. I'm with the Office of Experiential Learning. I am joined by my colleague Amy Williams, from the Office of Global Engagement. She's just here as a expert on the global education side of things, but we are just going to quickly run through these slides, and then, like I said, we will be open for questions afterwards. So I'm going to just jump on in and get started. All right, so this is our quickie agenda. So first we're going to talk about what Connect Abroad is, go over some general expectations. Importantly, we'll talk about passports and of course costs and budgeting. And then finally, we will have that question and answer. So just again, my name is Kay Stanton. I'm with the Office of Experiential Learning. I have participated in the Morocco program for the last 2 years. And Amy, who's with me from the Office of Global Education, went to Italy last year and will be going to Portugal this year. I will be going to Turkey this year. So we do have some actual hands-on experience from participating as staff members in these programs before. All right. So, just to give you a quick rundown of what Connect Abroad is, because it's really grown a lot. This is our third year, and we are currently offering 12 programs during spring break and one in Maymester. So these are programs that are designed specifically and only for first year students. So unfortunately, that means if you are a second year student, or a transfer student, you aren't eligible for this. However, if you started at UGA as a first-time student beginning last spring, so that was spring of 2025, summer or this fall, then you are eligible for this program. So we have expanded quite a bit. Our first year, we went to 4 locations. As I mentioned, during spring break, we are going to 12 locations and one in May. Broken this down into the Connect Abroad Discover, Immerse, and Explore programs. And I just want to say there's a lot more information about this on our website. I'm just going to go ahead and type this into the chat. So you can get some more information on what the programs are, as well as links that go directly to the program brochures for you to apply. So what the Connect Abroad Discover program is, that's kind of the OG, what we started with, that is run out of our office. This year we're going to Costa Rica, Croatia, Estonia, Germany, Greece, Morocco, Portugal, and Turkey. So all of these programs, I'll say, are open to all majors. Doesn't matter if you speak the language, and it's going to give you just a great chance to dip your toe into a new culture for a week. But one of the great things about Connect Abroad is it really gives you a chance to meet your peers from across the university. Again, all different majors. You'll also get to meet a faculty member and a staff person, and those can be really great contacts for you throughout your time here at UGA. So I know that, we get to write letters of recommendation, and I know my group from Morocco gets together regularly still. They like to watch all the soccer games from last year. So, just a lot of, it's a really great way to build those connections that you can take with you. And all of the programs have that aspect. Discover is a little more generalized. Again, all of the programs are led by a UGA faculty member. Now, the Connect Abroad Immerse program, it's a little more subject specific. Again, you can be any major, but they're going to have a little bit more of a focus on, for instance, in Belize, biology. And they're doing, I believe it's a pre-med public health focus. And then, of course, computing in London. Um, Honors is offering a program in Finland and then psychology in Amsterdam. The Explore program, this is our first year running that one. It's going to be a 2-week Maymester program. Again, going to Thailand. It's set up a little bit more like the Discover in that it's more generalized, but it will be more in depth just in the amount of time that we're spending in that location. And we'll have a little bit more as far as projects and things go. So this is creeping up very quickly. The applications for the spring break, Immerse, and Discover programs are due September 20th. You've still got some time for the Maymester program, so that's not until November 30th. And yes, you could technically do both of these programs if you wanted to. That would be a whole lot of travel in a year, but technically you can do that. All right. I'm going the wrong way. Let's see. No, that's right. That's right. Okay. So again, Connect Abroad, what is it? So as I mentioned it before, you must be a first year student. But one of the things that we recommend, these are competitive programs. A lot of them already have well over 100 applicants, and we can only take 30. But don't be discouraged. What we just want to do is recommend that you apply to more than one program. You can apply to up to 5. And there are 2 ways that you can rank the programs. There's a way that's actually built into the application portal. And then there's another one that's within the questionnaire where we just ask you to list in order the locations you would be interested in. Now, if you're doing that, just be aware that you do need to apply to each of those programs. We won't necessarily look at that question and say, oh, they're interested in these 3 programs, but they've only applied to one. You do need to apply to each of those programs. So make your application strong. You do that. It's a pretty easy application. So we're not looking at GPAs because people don't have GPAs. But they're 3 questions. We want to know why you want to go to that specific location. Definitely recommend if you know a little bit about the location to mention that, why it's important to you, whether just as in a personal way for your major. And then the last question is kind of just tell us a little bit about you. We want to know who we will be traveling with, things like that. So, make your application strong. Apply to more than one. I will say, for instance, some of these programs, even between Immerse and Discover, like the computer science program or computing program to London, I would definitely recommend that you also apply as a backup to Estonia because they're going to also have a little bit of that data science aspect to that program too. They'll also be talking about Vikings and things like that. So it'll be, pretty fun either way. But, as far as it goes right now, the very popular programs include Greece, Belize, and Costa Rica. So if you have only applied to one of those, again, have a backup or 2 at least. And I'd say that really for all of these programs. Definitely apply for program scholarships. Hopefully you have seen that the Discover programs do all come with a $400 scholarship. That's just for the Discover programs, unfortunately, this year. But that will come off of the top of what is being promoted for that cost right now. and apply for a passport scholarship. We're going to tell you about that more in this program, this presentation later. You can, if you have never had an adult passport, you can get one for free, and it doesn't even matter if you're actually traveling on this program. You should go ahead and do it. It's first come, first serve. And that is through Amy's office with Global Education. All right, so let's talk a little bit about program expectations. This, by the way, is my first group that went to Morocco. I can't recommend Morocco enough. It is they're all amazing. You know what? I'm just not even gonna go there because they're all amazing. But yes, this is an academic course. It's 1 credit hour. So for spring break, it shouldn't really affect your schedule too much. There are ways to do overloads if that's necessary. But it is, it's first and foremost, it's a study abroad. You will, if you are accepted into a program, enroll in an IDEA 3000 course, or the Immerse programs will each have their own academic 1 credit hour course to participate. And there's another course, the Study Away course, that you'll have to sign up for as well, but that's a 0 credit hour. It won't affect your class load at all. So the Maymester program is 2 credit hours, so that one is a little bit different. And again, you'll also have to register for the SAB, the study abroad class. We do expect active engagement and participation every day. These are very fun, but also very busy and intense programs. I mean, it's 1 week, but we are busy a lot. And if you happen to stay up too late, or if you're sick, of course you're sick, we'll work with you, but this is not, we expect you to participate in all of the cultural events, the academic events, in your program. It's just a week, and that's how you get your grade. And of course, as always, you're subject to UGA's academic honesty policy, same as if you were here in Athens. And for academic expectations continued, each program will have usually 2 pre-departure meetings. So again, we will, the deadline for applications is September 20th. We will let people know starting on October 1st. And then once you're committed and get into a program, you will need to attend a pre-departure meeting. One usually happens in November and one's in January or February. This gives you a great chance to meet who you're traveling with, hear about logistics, health and safety, the content of the course. So they're actually pretty fun, and definitely just a great way to get to know who you're going with. So complete all the pre-departure paperwork and assignments. So there would be a number of things within the application portal that you'd need to complete. And then the faculty member for your program may also have some readings or little quizzes or additional things that they want you to do before you go. Okay, so the main project for Connect Abroad is a photo voice project. So this is actually a really fun way to kind of, I mean, we're already taking pictures of everything anyway, but it's every course, every class that's doing this will, each student will submit one or some photos that will then be looked at by all of their class. You'll keep a journal. This journal is just for you, but you will need to submit a reflection on your photo. And then the finalists, we select for you, the students, select 4 from each class. And we do hang those in an exhibit. It's been in Tate the last couple of years, and I'm thinking we haven't outgrown Tate yet, but we'll get there soon. So, and that goes up in April. So it happens when folks are still around. You can see your awesome photos and remember the amazing spring break that you had. And of course, there are lots of great academic resources available while you're abroad. All right, passports. If you are in this call at all, you're interested in study away, go ahead and get your passport if you don't have it. It can take quite a while for them to process. There are busier times. Just be on it now so we're not panicking the week before travel and you don't have your passport yet. Yes, that has happened. Let's not do that. Um, and the other thing is that if you do have a passport that's going to expire within 6 months of your anticipated return date, so we're looking at if your passport expires in September of 2026, also go ahead and renew because you do have to have that 6 month buffer on your passport when you travel. All right. Costs and budgeting. I know this is a big question for everybody. Um, So on the Study Away portal, if you haven't been there yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. There are lots of great resources, but you can find brochures of each of these programs. There are also links to those from our website, and it'll spell out what the program fees are. So it does not include tuition, but again, for most of you, since it's a 1 credit hour course, it won't affect you very much as far as tuition goes. But we do break it down into your program deposit, which is $100, airfare, lodging, transportation, and some of the meals as well of all of your excursions and activities. That is all included in that program fee. So yes, keep that in mind. For the spring break programs, your airfare is included. For the Maymister program, it is not because people will be likely coming in from other places. There is also a shuttle in most instances that will take you from Athens, from UGA to the airport and back. So that is all in that program fee. Note that not all of your meals are covered, and in that program brochure, you should be able to see a budgeted cost, a general budget of what we expect you'll have to pay for your meals that aren't covered. So, and any activities that are not included in the itinerary, things like snacks, coffee, bottled water, and of course, souvenirs and things like that are not covered in your program fees. So as you're making your budget for this, look at that program brochure. Remember that the Discover programs do have that additional $400 taken off. And, kind of you can do Google searches and see how much things cost in various places, just to kind of get an idea of what your spending habits are, and, based on what things cost in that location. All right. So this is the passport initiative that I mentioned earlier. So this is a really fantastic way to get your passport paid for, basically. You can go ahead and apply for this now, and they will reimburse you up to $170. So that's pretty much the cost of a passport. Uh, and Amy, do you mind kind of telling a little bit about the process for that? Because I think that you have to get the passport first and then it's a reimbursement. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So we will give you the award and notify you, and then you go get your passport processed, and then you get a reimbursement on your student account. Of note here, if you have already started processing your passport, we cannot give you the scholarship. However, we give the scholarships out on a rolling basis. We send out award notifications almost weekly. So if you have not started an application, but you do need a passport, go ahead and apply for that passport scholarship now. It's some really simple questions. We basically want to make sure you're a US citizen because unfortunately you have to be a US citizen in order to get a US passport, which is the only thing we can fund. And we want to know if you currently have a passport or if it's about to expire. Because again, if you have a minor passport, we will fund an adult passport. We also have a second passport initiative that only covers $165. It is for high need students. I know it costs less, but but it's for high need students. But that's because it's a different funding source. So I think we've added a question now, like, are you willing to be considered for the $165 scholarship? And if you click yes, and basically it doesn't cover that passport service fee for when you get your photo taken, is what the difference is there. But if you check yes, that'll put you in that other funding source too.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I got a question in the Q&A here. This is a good one. Can exchange students take part in these programs? And I'm just going to answer. I'll type this in here. I can't do two things at once, so I'm just going to answer it verbally now. But basically, unless you are a first year student, which probably as an exchange student, you're not. You would unfortunately not be eligible. Now, if you were an exchange student and you had not been to another college before, and this is legitimately your first year in college, you would still be eligible. But I don't know how common that is. So, no, unfortunately, the vast majority of exchange students would not be eligible.
An international student, yes. An exchange student, I would probably say most likely not.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we have had international students travel with us before, and we definitely do work with them to find out about visa requirements and things like that. Um, Okay, program payment. This is just, we want to make sure this is on everybody's radars, just so you're not surprised. If you do go on one of these programs, sort of the way this all works. So on October 1st, people will find out if they have been accepted, and you'll have a week to commit to the program, which means you say, yes, I'm going, and you pay your $100 deposit. Um, and there is Office of Global Education has a withdrawal policy, which is basically the closer you get to the program, if you have to withdraw for some reason, they do have to charge a certain percentage of the program fee. And of course, that's going to vary depending on which program you had. I mean, of course, we hope that nobody has to withdraw. It happens, and we work with students. But please be aware that this is the policy that starting November 12th, you would be responsible for 25% of that program fee, and it increases the closer we get to departure. And the final payment is due on January 12th, 2026, if you are going on the program. That's the first day of classes, and it just shows up in your student fees. And there is an appeals process. If you do have to withdraw for, health, medical reasons, emergencies, things like that, there is a process that you can appeal it. It's not guaranteed, but, that is available to you. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up, but just before we jump into questions, what's next? Applications are due the 20th, so go ahead and start your applications. If you've already started, make sure you've submitted it. Again, apply to multiple programs. That's going to greatly increase your chances of getting to go, because again, we're seeing it's very popular this year. Apply for scholarships. There are a limited number of scholarships through OGE. I also recommend, reach out to your departments, see if anyone in your hometown, things like Rotary clubs, things like that. That there will be, look, get creative with searching for scholarships. Get your passport, just go ahead and do that now, get started. You never know when things are going to be fast or slow, but it takes several weeks regardless. We will start letting folks know on October 1st, so it's hard to believe that's just about 3 weeks away. And we're going to open this for questions now, but I also want to let you know you can email us at any time at elconnect@uga.edu. And we will be happy to answer your questions. If you think of anything after this meeting, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, thank you. And I see that Amy is answering the question that has come up in the Q&A. And
You
I'm
can
gonna,
just say it.
yeah, no, I know. I'm gonna let you do that. And
So yeah, if you get accepted into the program, we'll ask you to pay a $100 deposit. That deposit is not refundable. And if you withdraw before the withdrawal penalty kicks in, then that is the only thing you lose out on is that $100. If you withdraw after that withdrawal penalty kicks in, it'll be a percentage of the program fee.
Thank you. All right, and I believe you should all be able to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question with your voice. So we got another question. Are a lot of scholarships given? Not a lot, and they are competitive. Again, aside from the $400 that all folks who participate in a Discover program get, there are a limited number. I think, I don't know, gosh, what do you know about how many there are going to be this year, Amy?
I am not sure.
Okay.
I know it right now it's less than it was last year, even though we have more students going.
Yeah, I know. I know. We are currently working on building the
We're
funding.
trying to find some other donors that want to support it. So
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, I just say as far as, scholarships, not a lot are given. You know, so just get creative with it. And there are also other it's hardest first year. So we're constantly trying to find ways to secure funding for y'all. Okay, so Peyton is asking, what is the ranking of programs applied for? Okay, so and which are the hardest to be accepted into? So definitely what they use the ranking for. I mean, I know for some of these programs, and I'll tell you right now, Greece, Belize, and Costa Rica are all very, very popular. Um, and if that is your top choice, make sure you put one because if they have 300 applications, they're going to review the ones that rank Greece first. First. So, and again, as that goes through, as I was saying before, make sure you also apply to more than one. Um, let's see. Another fantastic question. How does it work with students with allergies? And are there any programs that I would recommend over others for students with allergies? So I know that our providers have been amazing with folks who have extreme allergies. There's always someone in country who speaks the language and has a list of the allergies that we have. I know the first year we had a person who had extreme allergies to many, many food things, including like flour and all of these different things that are in pasta. But basically, she was not able to participate in the cooking class, but they work with her. We take a lot of precautions to make sure you are safe. And we have not had any issues with that. But that said, you have to be as a student with allergies aware of what's going on. You can also get an app that kind of breaks down in the language of the place you're going, you know, what the allergies are. So you could show it to a server, if you were on a meal that was not part of a group meal or something like that. So this is pretty common and there are a lot of resources out there. So tuition for out-of-state students, again, it should not affect your tuition for the spring break program. It's going to be the same, you're just adding a single hour. For the Maymester program, the 2 credit hour. Amy, you're unmuting. Did you want to talk on this one? Because I know you got the info on this one.
I do. So for the spring break ones, because you're billed for the whole spring semester, and UGA has the lump sum billing, you like do 12 to 18 hours, it's a flat rate. You're not going to see a difference in your tuition. However, for the Maymester one, out-of-state students will be billed in-state tuition for those 2 credit hours for the Maymester one, because summer Maymester tuition is billed 1 credit hour at a time.
Awesome. Yes.
So if you're taking 12 hours, it's not going to cost you any more. If you are taking 18 hours and you add this course, there's going to be an over credit fee.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Let me get caught up here. So yeah, and I turned the slides off. I will be happy to share these slides with anyone who would like them. Let's see, how much does the whole trip cost? So the best way, so all the prices range. Right now we are looking, they're usually between $3,000 and $4,000. That does include the flight. And again, this is for the spring break programs. So highly recommend you go to the portal because they're each going to be a little bit different. For instance, Costa Rica is less than, some of the ones that are transatlantic. So go to studyaway.uga.edu. If you search for Connect Abroad, you'll be able to see everything that's out there. There's some great descriptions on what the programs are, brief itineraries, and there's also a breakdown of those costs, including things like passport, meals that aren't included, spending money. So it'll give you a pretty good idea of what you expect. And yes, flights and lodging and some of the food are included. And again, it sort of breaks that down in the portal. And for the Maymester, let me just say again that flights are not included. We're letting people have a little more leeway with that since it's summer and people will be coming from different places. All right, let's see. If you have 15 credit hours, will your Hope Scholarship still cover the extra credit hour for Connect Abroad? I think does Hope uh do you know the answer to this one? I do not want to give
It
incorrect
it
information
falls
on this.
under that lump sum
Okay, that's what I
coverage
thought.
between 12 to 15 hours. So
Okay.
yeah, there's no additional charge for the tuition if you have Hope.
But if they bump up to 16, would that be extra with Hope, or should we just send them to financial?
I'm I'm gonna send out a financial aid.
Yeah. Okay. So
You're
your
getting in
best
the weeds
bet.
on that one.
Yeah. Reach out to if you have questions about specific scholarships and things, I do not want to tell you the wrong information on that. And it varies so much from person to person. Talk to the Office of Student Financial Aid. They have advisors there. They're awesome. And they can let you know for your specific situation what to expect. All right. Um, Awesome. These are really great questions, y'all. Does anyone else have any other questions? Am I missing? Have I missed any?
There is a question about is it a separate application for each trip, or do we fill out one and rank the destinations? And you need to fill out a separate application for each program. So if you want to go on 3 programs, you need to do 3 applications. 5 programs, 5 applications, 1 application per program. And the application is pretty much the same for each program. So
Yeah. That said, though, I would recommend, I mean, they're short answer questions.
yeah,
It's a sentence or two, but if you're applying to Turkey, and everybody should apply to Turkey because it's going to be amazing. I'm not just saying that because I'm going there. So is Portugal, right, Amy?
that's right. Portugal will be fantastic.
They're all going to be incredible. But anyway, yes. So I make sure you mention why you want to go to that specific location. I know it's kind of a pain to have to do that for 5 different things, but it's just a couple sentences. And the one that's like, tell us about your hobbies, you can literally copy paste, copy paste. That is fine. But yes, please do. You will need to apply to each program you're interested in.
Yeah, it's the same application, but definitely tailor it to each location.
Yes. All right. Um, I think there's large equipment being moved right outside my office. So any other questions? Have I gotten everything? All right. Well, I'm gonna again put in the chat our email address. So you are welcome to, contact us at that email address if you think of anything later. Um, or Oh, yeah. Okay. We are getting some more. Good. Awesome. How big are the groups? There are around 30 students for per group. So it's a nice size group. We want to keep it small enough that you actually have the chance to get to know who you're traveling with. And just logistically, it makes more sense to do it this way. So, um, I'd say, 30 to 34. Honors is leading a group, and theirs will be a little bit smaller. I believe that that will be only
20.
honors students. Sorry, I'm
Oh, yeah.
multitasking here.
Yeah, the honors program will have 20 students on it,
20.
but you have to be part of the honors program in order to participate on that program.
Yeah. Whereas the other programs are open to everybody. Um, and again, email us, check out our website. There's a pretty good breakdown of the programs that are being offered, as well as links to the application portal, if you look at Connect Abroad on our website. So, all right. Okay, cool. I think we all right, yeah, I think we're good. So, yeah, feel free to contact us, and I do appreciate y'all spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. And again, deadline is September 20th. It's coming up. Oh, and we are going to be at the Study of Wayfair next Tuesday and Wednesday in Tate. So please come stop by our booth and say hello. There will also be lots of other great study abroad opportunities, study away opportunities, really more than you can fathom, that'll all be going on during those same couple days. So it'd be great to meet some of y'all. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and thank you, Amy.
Thanks, everyone.